Today I am sharing with you 4 quick tips to reduce your stress and lower your cortisol levels naturally. Welcome to my channel. My name is Dr. Jessica. I am a naturopathic doctor, an acupuncturist, and a health coach, and I help clients reduce fatigue, anxiety, and symptoms of burnout naturally. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and click the notification bell so that you can find out when I post new videos every week. Now, let's jump into those 4 tips. But before we get into it, we need to talk about cortisol and exactly what it is and how it affects us. So, cortisol is a hormone that is produced by our adrenal gland. It is often called the stress hormone, and it is pretty aptly named because cortisol is usually produced in response to stress. Now, it gets a bad rap because of this, but we do need to be responsive to stress, and cortisol should increase when stress increases. That is how we stay resilient and keep adapted to stress. The problem comes when there is too much stress for too long of time. That is when we start to see the negative side effects of cortisol. So that's when we start to see fatigue, anxiety, difficulty sleeping, brain fog, trouble concentrating. That's where all the negative side effects of stress come from. So now let's jump into those tips. The first tip I like to share is exercise. Yes, the dirty E word. But exercise really does help us modulate our cortisol response. Now, on its own, exercise actually is a stressor to the body, and too much exercise can actually increase cortisol. However, when done moderately and when done regularly, exercise overall helps us to decrease our cortisol level response. What we want to make sure that we're doing is not doing too much high intensity exercise or too much vigorous exercise, especially without enough recovery time. That is when we'll see cortisol actually increase to our detriment. So just remember to add in moderate exercise a couple times a week to your weekly routine, and this will help with your stress response. The second thing I like to talk about when it comes to modulating your cortisol is breath techniques or breathing techniques. Now, this is a quick, simple, easy thing to do. You can practice many different types of breath work. You can do things like yogic breathing. You can do things like diaphragmatic breathing. You can do biofeedback. There are so many options when it comes to breath work. The main thing is that you pick something that works for you and that you can do consistently. Now, the reason why breath work is so crucial is because when done at a specific rate for a specific amount of time, it actually activates our vagus nerve, which is known as our vagal brake. This nerve actually helps to break the sympathetic nervous system and push us into more of a parasympathetic mode. That helps us reduce stress and overall will help us lower our cortisol levels. If you are learning something and getting something from this video that you haven't heard of, then make sure to give it a thumbs up and leave a comment below about what is your favorite activity for reducing stress and reducing cortisol. The third thing that I like to talk about when it comes to the stress response, reducing stress and reducing cortisol, is your nutrition, believe it or not. You need to make sure that you're fueling your body with adequate vitamins, minerals, and nutrients by eating a well-balanced diet. This is going to help you have the necessary materials to help with a lot of the metabolic responses that need to happen and the metabolic processes that happen when we are under stress. When we are under stress, the body has to compensate and do a lot of processes that need to happen, and if you don't have enough of those vitamins, minerals, and nutrients, then they're just not going to happen and you're going to feel more fatigue, and eventually cortisol is going to rise. So focusing on a well-balanced diet is really going to go a long way in mitigating that stress response. And for this video, the fourth thing that we'll talk about are supplements. So this can be supplements, vitamins, minerals, or even herbs. Now, there is a lot. If you Google stress and vitamins or stress and nutrients, there are a lot of things that come up. So first thing I need to stress is that, no pun intended, is that you need to make sure that you're working with a qualified provider, a qualified healthcare professional, so that you, one, make sure that you're getting what you actually need. Just because things are over the counter does not mean that they are safe necessarily for you, and does not mean that they are effective or the right choice for you. So make sure you check in with your provider before starting any new herbs or supplements, and that you are working with someone who actually knows what these things do. One of the biggest categories you'll see when it comes to stress and cortisol are herbs called adaptogens. Now, these herbs are really special because they help to modulate our cortisol response. And that can be because sometimes you actually are producing not enough cortisol, or sometimes you are producing too much cortisol, or sometimes the timing just gets messed up. So you want to make sure that the adaptogens that you are choosing are appropriate for you and your current situation. You've probably heard of things like ashwagandha, rhodiola, even some types of ginseng are often used as adaptogens. And now dosages are going to be very dependent on the type that you're using, if they're using them in combination with anything else, and actually what's going on with you. So again, make sure you're working with a qualified provider that can help you out. So just to recap, 4 quick tips when it comes to reducing your overall cortisol and reducing that stress response are exercise, nutrition, breath work, and herbs and supplements. So I hope this video was helpful. So if you have questions about how I help clients go from feeling tired, fatigued, brain fog to feeling vital, energized, and more mentally clear and mentally focused, then why don't you go ahead and click that link below. You can book a call with me to find out exactly how I help clients regain their vitality and start thinking clearly. So thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And of course, if you have any questions, leave a comment below. But otherwise, I will see you in the next video. Bye.